Good morning, and boy, do we have a good one here today. Alright, so sometimes I struggle to make good content, and I do a lot of video work. There's these things, cameras and stuff. But sometimes there's a subject that drops itself into my lap that is actually more current events. I don't know what that is. You know what that is? And it won't come off? That's icing from a cake. It's blue icing that comes from a cake. But anyways, current events. So this morning I'm sitting on the toilet doing my business, and I look at the Kingwood Facebook page. Now, Kingwood is my town. I live in New Jersey, if you didn't know, and a very rural area of New Jersey, which is not as rural as I like it. It used to be a lot more rural, where people got along no matter what your race, creed, or color was. And that's the God's honest truth. We didn't care what color you were. If you were a kid, we played soccer, football. Well, we didn't play football here. We played soccer, baseball, and we wrestled. That's what we did here. And nobody really gave a damn what the hue of your skin was. And that's just the long and the short of it. So, excuse me, I got a little bit of a congestion thing going on here because we've got a lot of pollen floating around. Anyways, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that aren't going to be interested in this and have probably already clicked off. But if you're still here, I urge you to stick around and just listen to what I'm about to read. Because this is what's moved into my neighborhood. And it's really sad. On two fronts. Okay? Three fronts. And there's something that's been bothering me for a long time, and there's just no way you can just talk about the subject without pissing people off, which I don't mind pissing people off. But one is kids and the way people raise their kids and how disrespectful their children are to adults because, there's no discipline left in this world. I come from a generation that if you mouthed off to your mother or father, you got your ass beat. Now, I'm not saying beat with a flip-flop or you got your ass beat with your father's belt. If it wasn't your father's belt, it was a garden hose or a milker hose in my case. So, do I hate my parents for it? No. Do I value, the time that I spend with my parents? Absolutely. Do I respect my parents? Absolutely. Would I mouth off to them now today in fear of getting beaten? No. I don't fear of getting beaten from my father and my mother. I say beaten, spanked, whatever. I feel that, they taught me right and wrong, and my hands are tied when it comes to teaching my children right and wrong with a belt. Timeouts don't work. We all know this. Timeouts are just a pussy's way of saying, now go stand in the corner, which is not, I don't think is even legal anymore either. Now you go sit on a chair and watch Mickey Mouse for an hour. That's your timeout. Now, we got our ass beat. TV was shut off. I remember my father shooting a hole through the TV with a shotgun. You know what? We became a closer family that way because then we had puzzles and games to play when we were allowed to do that after whatever it was we had done that was so horrific to warrant that. So anyways, I'm going to get on with my little reading. Now this is Annabelle. We'll just use first names here because, maybe these people watch this. And I'm going to be called an Igmo or some other fancy name for being stupid because, that's just what these people have become here in my neighborhood. So this Annabelle, she's walking my dogs tonight on my property, and some snot-nosed teens are sitting on bikes on my lawn curb. Now, if it was on her lawn, I could see what happened here. She said curb. Well, in Kingwood Township, there's only curbs in developments, okay? It's the state law they have to have a curb. So she lives in a development, and a curb is a curb. Everybody knows what a curb is. I approach and ask what they're doing on my property. The brat says we aren't on your property, which is true. They weren't on her property. They were on the curb, which is public property. That is true, unless they had their bikes parked on her lawn and they were sitting on the curb, or if they were just sitting on the curb. I tell them to move on. They're obviously not from my neighborhood. He calls me a bitch. What parents raises their kids like that? Obviously not good parents. My advice, keep your kids on your own hood, in your own hood, where state troopers will be escorting them home. Better hope no damage is done to my property. Now, kids sitting on a curb is not illegal, and the cops would come out and have a stern talk with the idiot that called them, Miss Annabelle. Now, that's the two problems that are here right now. You've got kids that call adults bitches, and then you have a bitch that is a bitch to these kids. So it's kind of like they're on the same playing field right now, the two of them. You know, she could have come out and asked is everything okay, or, you know, is there something wrong? Do you have a flat tire or something? But no, it's what are you doing on my property? Kids have a right to sit on the curb, especially if they were taking a rest, but they shouldn't call the woman a bitch, and she should be a little more, you know, personable. So keep your kids in the hood. All right, so here's where it goes crazy. Now a woman says, Melody, she says, oh my God, that's horrible. Well, what's horrible? The fact that she yelled at kids for sitting on a curb, or the fact that they called her a bitch? Because they might be kind of like warranted, both, even though the kids should respect their elders, and the woman just obviously doesn't have any human skills, talking skills, whatever. Now we get into this advice. Jennifer says advice with a capital A, not advice with a lowercase a. I don't get this. Another one, Melody says, those kids have no manners and no respect. Melody, you are correct. Melody, you are correct. They don't. Then Noelle, clearly neither does she. Noelle, you are absolutely correct. Now, hopefully this isn't boring you, because it takes a turn for the weird in a minute. You will be rather shocked and, shocked. So, there you have it. The impasse. That's Mr. Charles. Melody says, oh my God, they are crazy. So, now she is just, whatever. Waste of my breath, Melody says. So, now Noelle, let me be that person, since you're giving me some context clues with your choice and words, and obviously not from my neighborhood. Were these kids black? Where does color come into this conversation, and why does this color come into conversation over the word hood? Neighborhood? Yeah, I mean, not from here, maybe? Maybe not from here. Were these kids not? You're obviously not from here if you're calling this the hood, because this is Kingwood Township. It's rural Kingwood Township. The neighborhood means the entire township, not the hood. And that doesn't mean that these kids are black either. That's just retarded. So Alexandra pops in here. Based on the Trump shirt alone, on her profile, you're spot on. Such a shame. Racists walk among us. So now this person is racist. The one that told these kids to get off the lawn is a racist. That's just where this is going. And the reason why I know that is because I went and I looked at the person that told the kids to get off the curb. Somebody was wearing a Trump supporting shirt. So anyway, I was trying not to snoop. This is Noelle again. I was trying not to snoop, but geez, could she have outed herself even more? And then this guy, Mark Levy, spot on. I shouldn't have used his last name, but Mark Levy's been around here a while. He's probably Levy, but anyway. So, Alexandra, I used to live in this hood she's referring to. I had to look. Evan is a new guy. Oop. So, because she has a Trump shirt, that makes her a racist? Isn't that being racist by judging a book by its cover? That just makes you an asshole. That doesn't mean you're a racist. So, now this Alexandra, and that was towards Alexandra. So Alexandra comes back at this guy and says, sounds like you have no idea what racist means, but you're fine not educating yourself and will just spew embarrassing Facebook comments. Yes, if racism isn't a deal breaker, that makes you a racist. So now Evan is a racist. Alexandra is telling everybody that they're all racist. And then there's this Sean character. He gets in here, and he's after Evan. He says, being a Trump supporter isn't being part of a race. It's just bad judgment. Well, that's an opinion, and I can't fault Sean for having an opinion because we all have one. And, that's fine. So Evan comes back at Alexandria and says, I'm sure you loved when Trump sent out the stimulus checks to you, though. And then there's a couple of thumbs up and a couple of laughs. Like, there are people watching this and thinking, oh my God, this is so ridiculous in my town. So now we have a girl by the name of Jen, and she's after Alexander, or says something to Alexander. That would be y'all, but calling Trump supporters stupid and can't even spell right. So now Jen is, I think, defending the group of Trump supporters, or the woman that has the racist shirt, the Trump shirt on. And now we got a Deborah. Deborah pops in here. No, it doesn't make her a racist. It makes her an idiot. So now we're talking about intelligence levels, about people that support Trump. Now, this is in my town, all right? And it's all summed up at the very end, and it just blows my freaking mind. And it doesn't blow my mind. It just puts it all together at the end as to why my town is going the way it's going. Now Deborah goes again, said, just saying, duh. And then Alexandra talks to Jen, oh no, a missing apostrophe. So now we're so stupid that we can't spell. All right, and we're going to be corrected by, what, the liberal left teachers? Because they're all a bunch of liberal lefts anyway. Nope, not all of them. I know somebody in North Carolina, and she's not a liberal left. She's definitely a Trump supporter, and she teaches kids. And you know what she doesn't do? She doesn't bring politics into her classroom. So kudos to her. Okay, Alexander goes after Evans. Nope, I make too much. Try again. So now we've got money going in to this, So I make more than you, and you're just stupid. It's just amazing. Okay, so now we've got a Beth Ann. Now Beth Ann, not my Aunt Beth. My Aunt Beth is Beth Ann, but that's not her. After Alexander. If all Trump supporters are racist, are all Democrats okay with pedophiles? Whoop, there's whacking a hornet's nest because Anyway. Alexander J. goes to Beth Ann. That's funny. Now, there is a little picture here. I'm going to click on it. If Ivanka wasn't my daughter, perhaps I would be dating her. Okay, he said that. It's creepy that he said that, but quite honestly, Ivanka's pretty hot. I mean, come on. So, whatever. Ivanka used to play across the street from the farm here in Kingwood Township with her friend, what the heck was her name? Jessica. So now we've got a Barbara. Barbara's saying something to Alexander. Come on, I'm a Republican. I would have offered help and let them chill. I was brought up that way. Well, thank you, Barbara. Just because you're a Republican doesn't mean that that's why you would do it, Barbara. Barbara, you would do it because you were raised right and you're a good person. See? That's what good people do. They offer help if there's something wrong. One of the kids could have a flat tire or a heat stroke or something. It's pretty damn hot out. Don't go after them like they're doing something. So now Alexandra says something to herself. She said, imagine standing up for an incestual, racist, dumbass who brags about a cognitive test. Thanks for continuing to mark yourselves so the rest of us know what uneducated trash to stay away from. So now, if you wear a Trump shirt or you support the President of the United States of America, you are uneducated trash. Amazing. So I got to order a Trump sign, a big one, and hook it to electric and see how many idiots I get when they touch that pole. Anyways. So Alexander goes after Barbara. Now, poor Barbara, I haven't read this yet, but Barbara was the one that said she would offer help. Since when is a Republican always the same as a Trumper? You just outed yourself. My entire family is Republican. We don't vote for uneducated men who brag about assaulting women or are racist. That was Alexandra going after Barbara. So Beth Ann hops in here. Why not wait for an answer from the original poster before you jump? When everything is about race to someone, it's because they are racist. I would agree to that. Beth Ann has nailed it on the head here. The first person to say you're a racist generally is a racist themselves, or just someone that strongly dislikes people that don't have the same opinions as them. And that's what I'm seeing here. So Alexandra pops in. Because I lived there and know exactly what she's referring to. The front yards on Kings Ridge are huge. So now I know where she lives. Why are you defending a racist? Make racists afraid again? I know where Kings Ridge is. I remember when it was built, and I remember the problems that happened there from people. There are so many problems in Kings Ridge. And it's funny, but there's a lot of problems in Kings Ridge. If you watch the Kingwood Facebook page, 99% of the people that complain on the Kingwood Facebook page come out of Kings Ridge. And I'm just saying, well, I shouldn't, yeah, about 99% of them, I'd say that. You're not saying that there's 100 houses there and 99 of them are bitching about it. It's just there's probably 90 houses there and there's 5 that complain. And it's all about the neighbors around them because they came from places that, you know, the dog doesn't shit in your yard without you having a fit. Okay, so Noelle's back, Beth Ann, because in my honest opinion, she gave very important clues as to why she acted the way she did. So I asked a question. Well, I don't think he asked a question, really, but anyway. All right, Beth Ann to Alexandra. Yeah, so she's beautiful, smart, accomplished, ambitious, and a nice person. What's the problem? Your dad didn't put you on a pedestal? See, there you go. So Beth Ann comes back with a really good comment, the same comment that I said, that Donald Trump put his daughter on a pedestal. She's a beautiful woman, and if he wasn't her father, he would probably have asked her out on a date. It's not pedophilia. That's just a really nice compliment. Yeah, that's her father, and he thinks his daughter is beautiful, and he appreciates beauty. So I guess I'm a pedophile now, you know. My daughter's beautiful, and I love her very much. I don't think I'd say I would want to date her, but, you know, that's it. All right, so I'm also very anti-racist, racistism. That was Noelle. I have no idea what that is. That's not even a word. Beth Ann, Noelle. So wait for an answer. So that's basically it. So the original poster never does answer here. Wanting to date your daughter is putting someone on a pedestal? Wow. You into incest much? Creepy. You sound twisted. He didn't say, she's my daughter, I want to date her. He said, if she wasn't. So, yeah. So Alexander's definitely got some problems. Noelle goes after Beth. What exactly do you think I'm doing, LOL? She's the one who ran, posted, and ghosted. I don't know what the hell that is. Also, wow, yuck. I don't know. Beth Ann goes at Alexandria. No, you must have missed having a dad that loved you. Thank you, Beth. That's good. Noelle and Beth Ann? Yeah, he loves her all right. See, and this is where there's problems. When you have people, a man says that about his daughter, he's not saying that he wants to take her to bed. He's just saying that she's a beautiful woman, and he appreciates that. And he would, if she wasn't his daughter, he'd ask her on a date. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. But maybe because I'm a Trump supporter, I'm uneducated. People don't know what my education is. I don't go around talking about it. That's news to me. Oh, yeah. Beth Ann to Noel, she posted an hour ago. Maybe she doesn't live online or is in bed. There you go. So here we go. Now, I know it went down here farther, and I saw it. I really wanted to read that last line, because in the end there, somewhere, she says, I've been a resident of Kingwood Township since 2014. Okay, so 2014. Therein lies the problem. Everybody that's new here, we call them New Kingwood. New Kingwood, Old Kingwood. And there's getting less and less Old Kingwood. I'm Old Kingwood because I was born and raised here. My dad was born, well, my dad was not born here. He was born in Milford at the doctor's office there and was raised here. My grandfather was 2 years old when he came here to two Hungarian immigrants that came from Hungary and moved around the country till they settled here in this great state of New Jersey. We've been here a long time. And even when my great-grandparents were new here, they were New Kingwood. And there's really not too much of Old Kingwood left. And it's really sad that these people come from other places. It's just not sad that they come from other places. It's that they come from other places and they just can't get the way it is here, and they want to turn it into the place that they left. Now, there's a reason they left the place that they left. I don't know what it is. I really don't care. The reason but why turn the new place that you moved to into the place you left? Or maybe it doesn't live up to your expectations. And here's an example. When Hurricane Sandy in 2012 came ripping through this town, it tore down the branches, it tore down the trees, it made a hell of a mess. I mean, people's sheds, trampolines were like frisbees to this storm. They were just gone everywhere they went. So all these people that moved into the town from God knows where were like putting all their branches and stuff at the end of their driveway and calling the township, come clean up my junk. Come get this stuff. It's rural Kingwood, everyone. I know the neighbor down the road that had to deal with this crap. He's like, you have 2 acres. It's required, 2 acres minimum. And you need to take that to the back of your property and compost it, or shred it, or cut it up and burn it in your fireplace if that's what you need. And that is the whole ball o' wax. But they had fits, and they had fits all over Hunterdon County, because these people that have moved into our towns and that don't understand that this is Kingwood Township, rural Kingwood Township, that you have that property so you can deal with your own mess in your own way. Now, throwing garbage in the woods, not kosher. But you could very easily take it to the garbage that blew from your neighbors. You could put it in a black garbage bag and put it out for your garbage pickup, because everybody in Kingwood has garbage pickup. You pay for it. It's not a public thing. It's you pay for it because, and this is just another amazing thing. And it wasn't in that post, but I've heard it over and over and over again, that people will move here and they'll be like, oh, yeah, the taxes here are not nearly as high as they were where I came from, i.e. east of here. But they had public pickup, they had all kinds of stuff. There were so many services that they had, but when you come to Kingwood, they don't have those services. And then they're going to the township municipal building and pushing for those services. Those services cost money. If you want your taxes to stay, I can't say reasonable because they've exploded. When I bought this house in 2003, the taxes on this place were $2,600. I'm paying over almost $7,000 a year now in this house, which, that was 2003. That hasn't even been 20 years. So you could do the math as to how much every year it's gone up. And they said that they were going to give us a property tax reduction under the Obama administration when we lost our AAA rating. And there's a reason we lost our AAA rating under a Democrat president. Yeah, there was a reason, because he was just printing money, printing money. And when you print money, it becomes worthless. And yeah, that happened under Obama. But everybody forgets that. The Obama-Biden administration, We lost our AAA rating in the world standing, just so you remember that. If you're a Democrat, you can say that Trump's an idiot, and anybody that supports him is an idiot. But yeah, Donald Trump has a mouth on him, and he doesn't know how to shut up at times. I think there's a lot of political momentum that he loses when he opens his mouth too often. Like when Joe Biden can't even say fitness. Okay, now Joe Biden can't say fitness, and he stumbles and stumbles and stumbles. If the president would have just been like, we're going to let this go for today, I'll talk about that tomorrow, the whole day's news cycle would have been on Joe Biden's lack of ability to speak, and it would have went all day long. Now, I'm not a political analyst or nothing, but I've been around long enough to know that the news will jump on the next best thing. The next best thing. Yeah, I got the Rona. So, if Donald would have just shut up and let the news run the Biden story about him, stammering, and maybe his cognitive ability would actually come into play. And even in that post, it says that the president brags about a cognitive test that he took. Well, when you score that high on one, that's pretty impressive. Can you count backwards from 100? I struggle with it. I don't, well, not backwards. No, was it the ABCs? I don't know. He did something backwards from whatever. And I thought that was kind of impressive. The cognitive test is up there. Joe Biden says, yeah, I'm tested all the time, which he's confused. He confused the COVID test with the cognitive test. And then when they asked him, like, the next day, would you take the cognitive? Hell no, why would I take that? Well, there's a reason, because you wouldn't get even close to what the president did. And it's amazing when there's a group of people standing up there crying and complaining about the president being a stupid idiot, and he scores extremely high on a cognitive test, but then the most intelligent guy that the Democrat Party can put up there won't even take it. Like, oh yeah, I'll take that. We'll see how I do. I would, politically, what? Maybe it would be wrong because I'd lose, because I don't think I'd score that high on it. Not that I'm stupid or anything. It's just they're difficult. I mean, the first few questions are easy and they're designed to throw you off. And yeah, there you go. But anyways, 27 minutes of me talking about the neighborhood here, or the hood, and how people that live here can turn a couple of kids sitting on a curb into trespassing and racism and xenophobia, I guess, and all these other things that are going on. So Kings Ridge is like, if as the crow flies, half a mile from this place here. Maybe it's a mile. About a mile. Yeah, it's not far. So if you're from Kings Ridge, stay on Kings Ridge or move out of Kingwood.